We pride ourselves on having a diverse organization, not just diverse in the amount of cultures that are represented in a single space, but also diverse in our locations, in the countries and the regions that we work in, and the different types of people that work in our office. There are both young and older people who work in our space effectively and with each other. We work in both developing markets as well as highly developed markets. And at all times, it is deeply necessary in order to maintain a productive environment to consider the cultural differences within our office, within our organization. Now, I say cultural differences, a lot of times we tend to think about nationality or we think about your racial heritage. However, culture can actually be split amongst four key areas. One is generational. There is a difference from being born in 1950 versus being born in 2000. There's a different set of perspectives, a different set of issues, a different set of realities. I, for one, and I like to think in the middle, 43 years old, but in this age, I didn't grow up sliding my finger across phones to look at pictures. It's not normal to me. I've been doing it less in my life than those people who were born as millennials, as they say. This creates a mental perspective that's different. I have 10 children. A lot of people don't have 10 children. And because of that, I have a different perspective on life. I visited multiple countries. And I'm from the United States in the southern part of the country. All of that defines me. I'm also an African American that grew up in this space as well. All of these different definitions define a generational situation that differs from that of someone else. A set of status quo that adjusts the way we look at life. When you think about understanding and respecting people's culture, one of the things you can do across a generational gap is that you can try to understand the circumstances. How must it have been to be someone who basically had to call an operator in order to place a telephone and now be in an environment where people can have multiple conversations on a small device without even pulling the phone to their ear? Even though you might adapt to that technology, understanding the mindset of individuals and what that might do to impact them is very interesting and something you should spend some time doing. Vice versa, how is it to live in an environment where everything is quick, where attention spans are smaller, where multitasking is a thing of the day? Our youth also need consideration from those of us who are in our office who have grown up in different time periods. Generational cultural differences and understanding them and considering them and thinking through the impact they have on your coworkers is an absolute necessity, not to create a sense of pity or longing, but instead to ensure that you take the time to communicate in such a way that keeps our relationships powerful, strong, and productive. Another one is religious. There are obvious differences in religion. And although most workspaces we try to keep religion as something to the back burner, at QOSIL we have a very, very different perspective. We respect people's individuality. We do not ask you to simply share our single way of doing things. We want to respect you as who you are. And we're asking everyone, vendors, partners, customers, employees, and contractors alike, to respect the unique religious differences of each of their coworkers. That also might go down to dress, headgear. It might also have to do with prayer times throughout the days, prayer methods, and the coastal environment. We have complete respect for these things. If you need to take time out, or if we have the facilities to provide a specific place for you to pray or do anything that you have to do during normal work hours, we are always open to do it. You will never find a restriction at Coastal. If you have a religious holiday, regardless of the national holidays, you uniquely can take those religious holidays and take them off, and no one at Coastal should ever hold you accountable for working during those times where your religious holidays or your religious responsibilities are pulling on you. Respecting someone's religious differences does not mean you need to understand their religion, nor does it mean that you need to have a clear understanding of it. It simply means that you do not demonize, nor do you punish someone for having their difference and being different and celebrating that difference, which is what we encourage at Coastal. Another is educational. In typical society, the difference between graduating with a high school diploma versus a PhD separates us on a social element, not simply because it's a piece of paper, but also because the level of education changes the way you talk, changes how you present information and ideas, and changes your perspective. It is very important to take the time to communicate in such ways that are understood at a basic level. You know, one of the great communicators of our time said that when talking to a general audience, it is best to speak on a fourth grade level. That might seem almost asinine to some people with a higher education. However, I give you this piece of thought. Isn't it the height of intelligence to be able to explain something that is complex in the most simple way possible? If by communicating in this way, we are all communicating below our abilities, and we are all saying things in ways that are understood, and we are all taking complexity out of the air so that we can work together and be productive together. Having consideration for someone's different education level by just simply having an agreement to communicate on one level that everyone can reach increases productivity and the outcomes of our excellent family. Last but not least, one of the key areas is ethnicity. I, for one, enjoy the beautiful rainbow of ethnicity. I am very much love the fact that we are created in many different colors, shapes, sizes, and otherwise. I would expand ethnicity beyond just color and also think about the country you're from, even think about the size and shape of your body. What's important is that you understand that people are different. And even though that difference doesn't fall perfectly in the realm of something that you normally are used to, you should take pride and you should take an interest into the element of discovery and the beauty of accepting the complexity and diversity of creation and of your coworkers, vendors, and partners. It is never acceptable at Coastal that we utilize any of these cultural differences in order to have any negative connotation. It is always acceptable for you to express yourself in such a way that complements our excellent family and for us to respect it and to hold dear that diversity as a core element of our success.